So welcome to this video series on aptitude presented by Mentors for IAS in association with Bangalore IAS Academy and Namak APSC. Okay, so in this particular session, I will be continuing our discussion with time and work. So this being the second video on the same topic, that is time and work. In the last video, I did mention that this is actually a very important topic. Therefore, we have to solve more and more problems, and also since we have different varieties of problems when it comes to time and work, it is actually apt that we do more problems, we solve more problems of different kinds so that everybody is comfortable with this particular topic, especially when we move on to pipes and cisterns. Okay, so we'll directly start with today's problems. Okay, now the first question says A alone can finish a piece of work in 10 days, B alone in 12 days, and C alone in 15 days. So in how many days will they complete the work if all of them work together? Now this is actually a very simple question. It is very similar to what we have done in the previous video, except that instead of two individuals, you now have three individuals. But the way you solve it is no different. It is actually the same procedure. Again, you can do it by two methods. I have discussed earlier the traditional method as well as the chocolate method. You can use both of these methods in order to solve the same question by the same uh, procedure. Okay, so this being the first question, I'll just simply explain it so that if you've missed out on the previous video, or if you forgot, or if you've missed out any concept, it is still you'll have more understanding with respect to this these types of questions. So again, quickly, first doing it by the traditional method. So let me assume that the work to be done is X. So I'm assuming that the piece of work that has to be done is X. So when it comes to A, A is able to complete X amount of work in 10 days. So the question is, how much amount of work is completed in one single day? So what is it? This is nothing but X by 10. Similarly, B can complete X amount of work in 12 days. Then how much amount of work is completed in one single day? This is nothing but X by 12. Similarly, C completes X amount of work in 15 days. Therefore, how much amount of work is completed in a single day? This is nothing but X by 15. So now the question is, what if A, B and C, all of them work together? So if all of them work together, that is A plus B plus C, that is X by 10 plus X by 12 plus X by 15. This will give us the amount of work which is completed in one single day. This will give us the amount of work which is completed in one single day if all three A, B and C work together. So what is this? So we have 10, 12 and 15. So once again you will have to take the LCM. Obviously the LCM for 10, 12 and 50 will 30, no not 30, you can take 60. You can take it as 60 over here. So if you take LCM as 60, the 10 6 is 60, 12 5 are 60 and 15 4s is also 60. So this is what, this is nothing but 6 4s are 10, 15x by 60, or 15 4s is once again 60, therefore x by 4 days. Meaning if all three of them are working together, they complete x by 4 amount of work, or 25% of the work in a single day. Therefore, now the question is, when all of them are working together, if in one single day, they complete x by 4 amount of work, how many days will they take to complete x amount of work? See, all these things, this one, this step, this step, this step, this step is actually not necessary. See, I'll just explain it in the end. So what is this? This is nothing but what? X divided by x by 4. You take 4 to the numerator, x and x gets cancelled. This is nothing but 4 days. So the correct answer is 4 days, option C. So if you are solving the problem, straight away come and start with this particular step. Straight away start writing x by 10, x by 12 plus x by 15. What will you get? You will get x by 4. So the answer is nothing but 4 days. Therefore the correct answer is 4 days, obviously. I'll also do this problem by the chocolate method, so that once again everybody is comfortable with two methods. I would suggest you do it by proportionality and fractions, but if not, if you're really not comfortable, you may opt for chocolate method as well. So this is your chocolate method. So I'll have to assume a certain number of chocolates to be eaten as the amount of work to be done. So what I will do is that I will assume, let me assume the amount of chocolate to be eaten as 60 chocolates. Why am I taking 60 chocolates? Obviously it is a multiple of 10, 12 and 15 as well. I can take any number, but it would be beneficial if I take a multiple of these days, the number of days taken by A, B and C. So I'm assuming let the chocolates to be eaten are 60 chocolates. So coming to A, okay. Now if the number of chocolates is 60 chocolates, and if A completes, that is if A eats all 60 chocolates in 10 days, A eats all 60 chocolates in 10 days. Therefore, in one day, how many chocolates would he eat? In one day, he would eat nothing but 6 chocolates, correct? 60 by 10. If A eats 60 chocolates in 10 days, in one day, how many chocolates? 60 by 10, this is nothing but 6 chocolates per day. Next, B. B eats 60 chocolates in 12 days. Therefore, in one day, how many chocolates would he eat? This is nothing but 60 by 12. That is 5 chocolates per day. Finally, we have C. C completes the entire work in 15 days. So, if he completes eating 60 chocolates in 15 days, then he would eat 15 4 64 chocolates per day. Now I hope you are able to see the similarity. In the previous step, that is when we were solving the same problem by the traditional method, I hope you remember this, when we were adding x by 10, x by 12, x by 15. What did I take? I took LCM as 60, and this was nothing but 6x plus 5x plus 4x, correct? And we finally got x by 4. This was the answer. Don't I have 6 chocolates here? Don't I have 5 chocolates here? Don't I have 4 chocolates here? It's the same thing, but this chocolate method is only so that you are able to understand the concept behind this in a much easier manner. That is the only reason I'm doing it by this manner, so that it's easier for you to understand, because some of you may find it difficult to take up in the form of fractions. So coming back to this, if I add, that is A plus B plus C, what do I get? 6 plus 4 is 10. In one day they are eating 15 chocolates. So in one day, if they are able to eat 15 chocolates, how many days will they take to eat 60 chocolates? That is nothing but 60 by 15. It is equal to 4 days. So they take 4 days to eat all the chocolates, eat and complete the chocolates. Next problem. Okay. So here we have another question, that is A alone can finish a piece of work in 80 days. He worked for 10 days and he left the work. B alone finished the remaining amount of work in 42 days. So in how many days can B alone finish the full work? That is the question that is being asked over here. Now, see here. This is very similar. You might feel that this question is a bit tricky or this question is a bit difficult. but this is nothing but the same question, the same way, the same method that you have already understood in the previous questions. We'll have to apply the same method. The concept remains the same, except that the steps, you do have to take up a few extra steps. So here I will once again solve the same question by different methods, so it is easier for you to understand. Everybody actually understands this particular question over here. Okay, so again same thing, A alone can finish a piece of work in 80 days, correct? So if A can finish X amount of work in 80 days, in one day, how much amount of work would he complete? X by 80 amount of work is the amount of work completed by A in a single day. Now the question says A worked for 10 days and after 10 days he left. So now my question is, if in one day he can complete X by 80 amount of work, how much amount of work would he complete in 10 days? This is nothing but 10 into X by 80, correct? If in one day he can complete X by 80 amount of work, in 10 days, how much work would he complete? It is X by 80 plus X by 80 plus X by 80 plus X by 80 10 times. That is nothing but 10 into X by 80. So in 10 days, he would complete, 0 and 0 gets cancelled, he would complete X by 8 amount of work. Now after completing X by 8 amount of work, A leaves. A leaves. The remaining amount of work is completed by B in 42 days. So we have to find out in how many days B alone can finish the full work. Meaning if A was never there and if B had to complete the entire work, how many days would he take to complete the entire work? So now coming back to this. So A has completed X by 8 amount of work. The remaining work is completed by B in 42 days. So then we have to find out the remaining work. What is the remaining amount of work? So what was the original work that we assumed? We had assumed that the total work is X, whereas the amount of work completed by A is X by 8. Then what is the remaining amount of work? Nothing but X minus X by 8. So what is this? This is nothing but 8x minus x, I multiply here, 8x minus x by 8, this is nothing but 7x by 8. So 7x by 8 is nothing but the remaining amount of work which B completes in 42 days. So B completes 7x by 8 amount of work in 42 days. What is the question asking for? If B was to work alone from the beginning, how many days would he take to complete X amount of work? Now can't you find out? If 7x by 8 amount of work is completed in 42 days, how many days to complete X amount of work? Nothing but cross multiplication, correct? So what do we get here? We get 42 into X divided by 7 by 8x. X and x gets cancelled. I take 8 to the numerator. So I have 42 into 8 by 7. 7 6 are 42. 8 into 6, 8 5 are 40. 8 6 are 48. So if B was to work alone, he would have completed X amount of work in 48 days. A takes 80 days to complete the entire work, whereas B takes 48 days to complete the entire work. Therefore, the correct answer is C, 48 days. Yes, it is nothing but 48 days. So if you've understood this, good. I'll also do it by chocolate method. Okay, so now the chocolate method. Okay, now again same thing. Now we have 80, 10, 42. Now the LCM would be a very large number, so fine, it does not matter. Let me assume that the amount of work to be completed is to eat 80 chocolates. Let the work be to eat 80 chocolates. So if the amount of work is to eat 80 chocolates and A is able to complete the work in 80 days, that is eat 80 chocolates, eat 80 chocolates in 80 days. Then in one day, how many chocolates would he eat? In one day, he would eat one chocolate. So it is one chocolate per day. What does the question say? The question says he works for 10 days and he leaves. If in one day he eats one chocolate, then in 10 days, how many chocolates would he eat? Nothing but 10 into 1. Therefore, A would have eaten 10 chocolates. After eating 10 chocolates, he has left the work. The remaining amount of work is completed by B in 42 days. So what are the remaining amount of chocolates to be eaten by B? The original amount of chocolates were 80. 10 chocolates were eaten by A. What are the remaining amount of chocolates? Remaining amount of chocolates is nothing but 70 chocolates. So the question says B eats 70 chocolates in 42 days. 70 chocolates in 42 days. But the question is asking, if B were to eat all the 80 chocolates, how many days would he take? Now don't you see the similarity with the traditional method? It is all the same thing, but this is nothing but a bit more simple to understand. So again, nothing but cross multiplication over here. So we have 80 into 42 divided by 70. So 0 and 0 gets cancelled over here. 7 6 are 42, 8 6 are 8 into 6, nothing but 48. Therefore, the correct answer is 48 days. This is the correct answer. Now, if you've understood both these methods, I will give you a third method. There's a third method to actually solve this particular problem. Now, the third method is actually the fastest. Okay, but again, to do or to appreciate the third method, you should have understood all these first two methods. Only when you understand the first two methods will you be actually able to appreciate the extent of the first method as to how, the third method, and how can you take up the third method to solve more problems in the future. Now the third method is not applicable everywhere, but can be used, and it is actually time saving, but provided you understand. So because I don't want you to make mistakes over here, so I will do it by the third method. Okay, so you could call it as a shortcut, but this is actually a method in itself. So this is with respect to completion of work. This is with respect to completion of work. Now I will first do the problem and then I will explain it to you on how did you get this particular method. Okay, so I'll just quickly solve this entire problem now. So I will write 10 by 80 plus 42 by B is equal to 1. Now I have a linear equation with one unknown variable, that is B. So I will try to find out B now. 0 gone. Okay, I have 42 by B. I take this to the other side. This is nothing but 1 minus 1 by 8. So 42 by B is equal to 8. 8 into 1 is 8. 8 minus 1 is 7. 7 by 8. 7 6 are 42. I take 8 here. I take B here. 8 6 are 42 is equal to B. What was the answer? Sorry, 8 6 are 48. My mistake. 8 6 are 48. What was the answer? Nothing but 48 days. How many seconds do you think you need for this? 10 seconds at max, but provided you understand how do you get this particular method. Okay, now first of all, where did I get this 10 from? This is where I got 10 from. Where did I get 80 from? This is where I get 80 from. 42, where did I get 40 from? This is where I got 40 from. What is B? B, I have to find out the answer. That is why I found out B as 48. So how do you go about doing this particular problem by this particular method over here? See here. Now I told you this method is with respect to completion of work. Now in the first method we used to always assume that X be the amount of work to be completed. Now when doing by the traditional method, what did I tell you? X is able to complete X by 80 amount of work in a single day. But he works for how many days? Only for 10 days. Therefore, he completes 10x by 80 amount of work. Now, the remaining amount of work is completed by B. How many days does he work for? He works for 42 days. So, he works for 42 days. But the total number of days that he takes to complete the work, we don't know. Therefore, I'm representing this as P. See, just like how I got 10x by 80, similarly, I'm writing it as 42x by B. How did I get 10x by 80? X by 80 is the amount of work that A is able to complete in one day. He works for 10 days, therefore 10 into x by 80. Similarly, I am assuming let B be the number of days taken by B to complete the entire amount of work. So if B takes this number of days to complete the entire amount of work in one day, how much work would he complete? Nothing but X by B. But he works for how many days? 42. So in 42 days, how much work would he complete? 42 into X by B. Now, A completes this much amount of work and B completes this much amount of work, and if you add these two, you should get the total amount of work, that is X. This is the total amount of work. Now can I cancel X and X? I can cancel X and X. What do you get? You get 10 by 80, 42 by B is equal to 1. So now if you've understood this, whenever you come across similar problems, you can always straight away write 10 by 80 plus 42 by B is equal to 1. Say for example, tomorrow the question says A can finish a piece of work in 80 days and he works only for 10 days and he leaves. Now B alone can finish it in say some number of days. B alone can finish it in Z number of days. Okay, now the question tomorrow would say that, or B alone would finish the work in 60 days. But he takes how many days to complete the remaining amount of work? Then you can find this one out. So here I would know this variable as well, but here this would be the unknown variable. You should be able to find out in how many days can B complete the remaining amount of work if you know how many days B takes to complete the entire amount of work. So these are the three different ways that can actually be used to complete this, to solve this problem. So I hope you understood this. I hope you're able to appreciate the different methods. So now to appreciate, you should be able to understand. Again, I always say the mantra is practice, practice and practice when it comes to CSAT, especially if you're finding it difficult even after 6 videos. Next problem. Okay. Now the next problem says 6 persons can plant 12 trees in 8 days working 4 hours a day. So in how many days can 12 persons cut 48 trees in 8 hours a day? Okay. Now this question, obviously when you read this particular question, you would have noticed that this is a different type of question. See, in the previous video itself, I did mention when it comes to time and work, you can have a variety of questions. When it comes to time and work, you can have a variety of questions. Now, see, we have already completed few problems on wages when it comes to time and work. We have completed problems based on efficiency when it comes to time and work. Now, this type of problem is known as chain rule when it comes to time and work. But of course, I am not breaking down this particular topic, that is time and work, into several subtopics, that is wages, efficiency, chain rule, blah blah blah, because it would take too many classes. It would also take too much of time. And when it comes to your civil services examination, you really don't have so much of time to break your head on only one single topic, and under single topic you have several subheadings or subtopics. See, when it comes to your civil services examination, you only have 80 questions, and paper 2 is nothing but a qualifying paper. Paper 2 is nothing but a qualifying paper. If you take your KPSC for example, in paper 2 you would only have around 30 or 40, if I'm not wrong, the number of questions from aptitude, out of which around one third would be nothing but comprehensions. So how many problems do you actually have to solve? Out of those problems, how many questions can you expect from time and work? Out of time and work, which type of problem would you get? So it really does not make sense for you to break your head on aptitude to a great extent, unless you are really finding it difficult to solve even simple problems, or else practice a few problems, understand how the problems are solved. You are good, you should be good. That is why at the end of almost every video I'm giving a few practice problems so that you can practice. See, if you're still finding it difficult, please try doing this. After I am done explaining 5 problems, 5 or how many ever problems that I do, try to do the same 5 problems without me explaining. Try to do the same 5 problems by yourself. If you are able to do the same 5 problems immediately after explanation, this will stick with you. This will stick with you, because what many people do is they start reading maths, they start reading aptitude. At the one day before the exam, they will open the book and they will try to read the solution. That is not going to work out when it comes to aptitude. I'm pretty sure many would have tried it. It simply does not work out. So this particular topic or subheading under time and work is known as chain rule. Okay. Now this is actually a very simple problem. Now here I want you to remember a formula for this. Okay, remember this: M1 H1 D1 by W1 is equal to M2 H2 D2 is equal to W2, where for this particular problem I'm saying M is the number of men who are there to work, H is the number of hours that they work, D is nothing but the number of days that they work, and W is nothing but the amount of work that is done. Now see here, please once again read the question. It says 6 persons can plant 12 trees in 8 days working 4 hours a day. In how many days can 12 persons cut 48 trees in 8 days? Okay, so this is nothing but, see, I'm pretty sure, take Bernoulli's theorem for example. Okay, so if you maybe if you've done your engineering or science, but from science background, I'm pretty sure you know what Bernoulli's theorem is. What is Bernoulli's theorem? Here we have, I'm not explaining the theorem, I'll just write the formula. If I'm not wrong, it is pressure rho v square by 2 plus rho gh. Okay, so it says it is constant. This is constant. Now since this is constant, I can also write it as P1, I think density does not change for air or with respect to liquid, is equal to P2 into rho V2 square plus rho GH2, correct? Since this is constant, I can equate it between two different conditions. The same thing we are doing it over here. The same thing we are doing it over here. We are equating two different conditions. We are equating one condition with another condition. So what we will do is that the first condition says there are 6 persons, so M1 is 6, who can plant 12 trees. Now planting of trees is the amount of work. Planting of trees is the work that is being done. So I will write 12 here at the bottom. Plants 12 trees in 8 days. So this is 8. Working 4 hours a day. Working 4 hours a day. So 6 persons can plant 12 trees in 8 days working 4 hours a day, where 12 trees is the amount of work done. We are equating this with the second condition. The second condition says in how many days can 12 persons cut 48 trees working 8 hours a day. So we have to find out D2. How many days would it take in a similar situation but different conditions? The scenario remains the same. There are people working a fixed number of hours a day for certain days doing the same amount of work, but the quantum of work may change. So the scenario is different, but the conditions remain the same. So we now have to find out D2. So what is this? 12, 12 4s are 48. This is 2. 4 3s are 12. 3 2s are 6. 2 and 2 gets cancelled. So what is remaining? Only 8 is remaining. Therefore D2 is nothing but 8. Therefore in the second condition they would take 8 days. Therefore the correct answer is 8. So fine, it is 8 days. Now just for the sake of explanation, let me tell you this. How do we get this M1, H1, D1 and W1? Now this is with respect to proportionality. Are they directly proportional or are they inversely proportional? Now look at here. M1, H1 and D1. M1, H1 and D1. Now they are all inversely proportional. All those things which are inversely proportional are either in the numerator together or in the denominator together. Please remember, all those things which are inversely proportional will be clubbed together. See, this is very simple. I can also write it in the opposite way around. It does not matter. Correct? It actually does not matter. I can write this. I can take W1 here, and I can take M1 H1 D1 here. I can take W2 here, M2 H2 D2 here. So all these things can be in the denominator. W1 can be in the numerator. W2 can be in the numerator. M2 H2 D2 can also be in the denominator. It does not matter. But what I want you to remember is that all those things which are inversely proportional are always clubbed together. What I mean is that, say for example, if the work is 12 trees, okay. If the number of men increases, then the number of hours that they have to work decreases, or the number of days that they will have to work again decreases. Correct? Similarly, what if I say the number of hours that they work per day increases? Then I could say that the number of men required to complete the same work can be reduced, or the number of days that they work can also be reduced. Similarly, if the number of days is increased, then the number of hours that they have to work to complete the same work reduces, or the number of men which is required to complete the same work also reduces. But compare that with W. What if W, that is the amount of work, increases? Then the number of men required also increases. The number of hours required to work also increases. The number of days required to work also increases. So they're all directly proportional. So all those things which are inversely proportional are clubbed together, whereas those things which are directly proportional, they are separated out. That is why we have M1 H1 D1 divided by W1. The reason I'm explaining this to you is that tomorrow you may have a question where some other condition is introduced. Now then the problem is that you should be able to understand if that new condition that is introduced, will it come in the numerator or will it come in the denominator? Say for example, here the question also says these 6 persons earn 1000 rupees per day. These 6 persons earn 1000 rupees per day. Then in the second condition, how much money will they earn? Now they have mentioned D as 8 days, but the question is asking how much of money do they earn in the second scenario. Now the question is the amount of money. See here, if the number of men increases, the amount of money which is involved in the entire work also increases. So money will come here in the denominator. Money will come here in the denominator. Why? Because it is directly proportional. So the reason I want you to understand this is because if tomorrow any new condition is introduced, it should be simpler for you. You should be able to understand if it should be in the numerator with men, number of hours, number of days, or with work. Sometimes even if work is not mentioned, you can simply take it as 1. We'll try to solve more problems on this type so that it is clear for everyone. Moving on to the next problem. Okay, so here we have another question. The question says A, B, C and D can do a piece of work in 20 days. If A and B can do it together in 50 days, and C alone in 60 days, find the time in which D alone can do it. Very simple. We have already done these kind of problems, except that they have slightly changed the wordings of the problem. Try to do this by yourself, see if you are able to do it, because if you've understood the concept of time and work, definitely you should be able to do this. However, I will solve it now. So I'm pretty sure you know how to solve this problem. It is x by a plus x by b plus x by c plus x by d. I should get something, x by e, correct? I will get x by e. Now what does the question say? So I hope you are able to understand. This is nothing but amount of work done by A in one day, amount of work done by B in one day, C in one day, D in one day. If all of them work together, this is the amount of work done by them in a single day. Now the question says A, B, C and D can do a piece of work in 20 days. So this is that 20 days. So can I write this as x by 20? I can write this as x by 20. Next statement, if A and B can do it together in 50 days. So if both A and B alone work together, if A and B work together, they should be able to complete the entire work in 50 days. So this is 50 days. X by A plus x by B. I will write this as x by 50. And C alone can finish it in 60 days. So this is x by 60. Therefore, find the amount of time required by D alone to complete the work. I need to find out D. Don't you think this is very simple now? I will take x by 50 to the right hand side, x by 60 to the right hand side. So what do I have remaining? I have x by D is equal to x by 20 minus x by 60 minus x by 50. This is the equation that we have to solve in order to find out D. So I can take LCM as 20, 50, 300. We'll take it as 300. We'll take it as 300. So 20 is what? 30 is 15x. 15x, 6 is obviously 5x. This will be 6x. This will be 6x. So what do I get? 15x minus 5x is 10x. 10x minus 6x is nothing but 4x. So 4x divided by 300. I will write this as 3 into 100. This is nothing but 25. 25 3s are 75. So how many days does D take? X by D. X by D is equal to x by 75. Therefore the correct answer is 75 days. Takes 75 days. Similarly, you can do it by the chocolate method as well. If you assume 300 chocolates to be eaten, the number of chocolates to be eaten is nothing but 300 chocolates. Then how many chocolates does A, if A and B are eating together, how many chocolates will they eat in one day? Nothing but 300 by 50. 300 by 50 is what? 0, 0 cancel, 5, 6 are 30. So 6 chocolates per day. Okay. If C alone is eating in 60 days, he would eat 5 chocolates per day. D, we have to find out. We have to find out. And if all of them are working together, if all of them are working together, how many chocolates will they eat per day? Nothing but 300 by 20. That is 15 chocolates per day. Therefore, in order to find out how many chocolates does D eat per day, this is once again nothing but 15 minus 5 into 6. What is this? Very same thing. 4 chocolates per day. Therefore, D eats 4 chocolates per day. If he eats 4 chocolates per day, how many days to eat? 300 chocolates. Nothing but 300 by 4. You will again get 75 days. Last problem, question 5. Now, question 5 says A and B are working separately and can do a piece of work in 9 and 12 days respectively. Now, if they work for a day alternatively, A beginning, in how many days can the work actually be completed? Now, this may be a bit confusing. I want you to read the question. Once you may pause the video, read the question once again, understand it. So what is the question saying? If A alone is going to complete the work, obviously we'll once again take the amount of work to be done is X. If A alone is going to complete the work, A takes how many days? 9 days. Therefore, in one day, how much work would he complete? X by 9 amount of work. If B alone is going to work, he would take 12 days. Therefore, he would complete X by 12 amount of work in one day. Now the question says, they'll not work together, but A will work on the first day. We'll start with A because it says A beginning. So A will work on the first day, B will work on the second day. Again, A will work on the third day, B will work in the fourth day. A will work in the fifth day, B will work in the sixth day. So this will continue. So how many days are required for the entire work to be completed if the work is carried on in this particular manner? So I hope it is clear now. Now let us proceed to solve the problem. So what I will do is, I will add A plus B. Okay, this is the amount of work done by A in one day, this is the amount of work done by B in one day. What if I add A and B? X by 9 plus X by 12. What do I get? X by 9 plus X by 12. So LCM will have to be 9 for 36. It is also divisible by 12. 36. 9 4 to 36. 12 3s are 36. Nothing but 7x by 36. So if I add, I get 7x by 36. So can I say every 2 days, 7x by 36 amount of work is completed? Again, on the fourth day, 7x by 36 amount of work is completed. Again, on the next 2 days, 7x by 36 amount of work is completed. Correct? What is the total work to be completed? It is x. So every 2 days, 7x by 36 amount of work is completed. Every 4 days, another 7x plus 36 amount of work is completed. So 4 days, after 4 days, 14x by 36 amount of work is completed. After 6 days, 14 plus 7, 21x by 36 amount of work is completed. After 8 days, 28x by 36 amount of work is completed. And after 10 days, 35x by 36 amount of work is completed. So after 10 days, 35x by 36 amount of work is completed. The total amount of work to be completed is x. After 10 days, this much amount of work is completed. See, if we move on to the next day, another x by 9 amount of work will be completed, meaning extra amount of work can be done. I don't want extra amount of work. I am being paid to complete some amount of work. I will only complete that much amount of work. So after 10 days, I have to find out how much amount of work is remaining. How can we do that? X minus 35x by 36 to find out the remaining amount of work. What is this? 36x minus 35x, I will get x by 36. So this is my remaining amount of work. So on the 11th day, I have to complete x by 36 amount of days. So as soon as you find out this many will go, we will mark 11 days. But no, 11 days is not the correct answer, because the amount of work that is being completed is between 10 and 11 days, and we have something that is 10 by 10, 1 by 4. Now if D was something like 12 days, or even if it is cannot be determined, I can straight away go and mark B, because this is the only option which is between 10 and 11. But if this was like 10 and a half days, for example, or 10 2 by 3 days, then we would have to find out the correct value. So I will just tell you how to find out the correct value. For this particular problem, considering the given options, you can straight away go and mark B and we are done with this. Okay, because this can be determined. It is not that it cannot be determined, it can be determined. Okay, so it is option B. Yes, it is answer B. 10 and a quarter of a day. or 10 1 by 4 days, but I will just tell you how to find the value. Okay, so on the 11th day, whose opportunity, whose chance is it, whose turn is it to complete the work? It is A's turn. Now A has to work on the 11th day, because here every odd number of days A works. So on the 11th day A has to work. So A can complete x by 9 amount of work in a single day. So how much time, what is the part of the day that he requires to complete x by 36 amount of day? This is nothing but cross multiplication. X by 36 divided by x by 9. So I take this to the numerator over here. I'll just write it here. You get x by 36 into 9 by x. This gets cancelled. 9 4 the 36. 1 by 4 of a day, or quarter of a day, or if it is 24 hours, 6 hours. So you need 10 days, you need 10 days plus 1 quarter of a day. Therefore it is option B, or 10 days and 6 hours. So this is how you have to solve it. If you want, you can also do it by the chocolate method. I'll just erase this. Okay, so similarly, let me assume the number of chocolates to be eaten is 36 chocolates. Okay, if the amount of work to be done is to eat 36 chocolates, how many chocolates does A eat in one day? 36 by 9, 4 chocolates per day. B, how many chocolates per day? 3 chocolates per day. Therefore, every 2 days, how many chocolates? 7 chocolates every 2 days. So every 2 days I have 7 chocolates. Every 4 day I have we have eaten 14 chocolates. Every 6 days 21 chocolates. Every 8 days 28 chocolates. Every 10 days after 10 days 35 chocolates would have been eaten. So after 10 days 35 chocolates are eaten. How many chocolates are remaining? 36 minus 35 equal to 1. 1 chocolate is remaining. Whose chance is it to eat the chocolate? It is A's chance. So if A takes 1 day to eat 4 chocolates, how much time would it take to eat just 1 chocolate? Nothing but 1 by 4. So it is 10 plus 1 by 4 number of days, or 10 days and a quarter of a day. That is option B. So I hope you have understood all the problems that we have solved here today in work and time. There are still more problems to be done under time and work. We can take it up. However, if you've understood this, I would request you to please try and solve these 5 questions, practice questions. And they're very simple. These are all questions based on what we have done, more or less. You should be able to do it. The answers for these questions will be posted in the comment section. Please do check and verify. So if you do have any doubts apart from this, please do write to us in the comment section. If you have any particular specific topic, or we can try and take it up pertaining that, time permits after we are done with all the basic concepts and depending upon the lockdown. So thank you. Please do follow us for more such videos. Now also here, I want you to remember this. I want you to understand that this is actually a very important topic. So please do not neglect this. Try to do as much as possible. We can do more problems. Thank you.